It's summing up, right?
Testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Union Catholic High School for today's varsity baseball action. The Union Catholic Vikings are taking on the Summit Hilltoppers in this Mountain Division matchup in Union County Conference. We're underway here in the top of the first. We had some audio technical issues, and we're up and running now. The video stream has been going since the first pitch. It's bases loaded, nobody out for Summit in the top of the first. I am Mr. Aranio, joined today by Jack Yablonowitz. And there's a ground ball. The third throw home is wide. Run's going to score. Here comes another run. And that runner is safe as well. So Summit is on the board early. They lead 2-0 and have runners at the corners with nobody out. And Coach Coletti's going to make a mound visit here early. There you see our scoreboard up and running this morning. So, Jack, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
You excited for this spring season?
Yes, I saw. I looked. It was bases loaded, so I know it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something special this season, with both teams we play and who we'll see some action as we saw early. Some action on a missed throw, got 2 runs scored. So it's great to see some action in baseball. Sometimes it's a low in baseball when I'm watching, me personally. So it's great to see some action on the field.
Well, there should be a lot of action, and Summit is up early, but there's a long way to go. And if you watch a lot of high school baseball, you know the games are never over. So the Vikings will certainly have their chance to come up and do some damage offensively, but they got to... Ooh, and there's a hit by pitch. So now the bases are going to be reloaded. So nobody out here at the top of the first. So as I was saying, the Vikings should have their opportunity to swing the bats and put some runs on the board, but it's so important right now that they stop things here in the top of the first, limit the damage. So Noah Sosa, the sophomore, is pitching today for the Vikings. He started at third base on opening day when the Vikings defeated Scotch Plains Fanwood by the score of 8-3. That game took place here on Monday at Union Catholic. Noah delivers, and there's a ground ball to second. They do get an out there.
Yeah, good job throwing the ball so they can make a play on it. I always say, like, whenever you throw the ball, make sure you know you have fielders behind you. If you're in this kind of situation, you got to know you have fielders behind you so you can throw something that they know, that the hitter will hit into a ground ball. Just you got to trust your fielders there, and they made the right play, got the second.
Yeah, so you're right, Jack. That's a situation where you do want a ground ball, and they did get one out. Potential double play ball. So that was Aiden Quinn up the middle with Greg Valoria. Aiden is the second baseman. Greg is the shortstop. Aiden is a junior. Greg is a sophomore. Good pair up the middle. And that one hit the umpire. Oh, you don't see that too often. That hits the umpire. It's a dead ball. You don't see that too often. Looks like he's okay. Looked like it hit him in the back. Yeah. So that is a dead ball, and it's...
Would it be a single?
It's a single. The runner gets first. Each runner advances one base.
Because that hit looked like it had some power into it. I feel like even if it didn't hit it, I feel like that hit looked like it had some power into it.
Yeah, that was a line drive. It looked like it was hit pretty well. So Summit now has... The base is loaded. It was first and third, correct?
Yeah, I guess they would move over.
Right, because it was bases loaded. We got the force at second, so that made it first and third. A run came in. Now, I'm a little confused here because that runner is at third base. I thought that runner would score by rule. That ball is up and in. Almost hit that batter too. So. Regardless, Summit has the bases loaded with one out.
Double play opportunity, as we say. It's a good time for double play.
This would be a great time.
It's always a good time for double play, but in these type of situations, get them all on the...
Yeah, I mean, you'll take a strikeout, but a double play would be even better. Yes, I'm a little confused there on the rule with the ball in the umpire. I know it's a dead ball. It's a single. You get first base. The runner's advance, but I would have thought that runner from third would advance, but apparently not, as that's fouled back. I'm just going to scroll over to the scoreboard. It is 4-0. This is a 3-1 count. Top of the first. Vikings do have someone warming up in the bullpen or just kind of getting ready over there. As that's grounded foul. So the count goes full.
Yeah, that was a count 3-1 where you, as a hitter, you're kind of looking to hit the ball out. In the best case scenario, you're trying to look for that ball up the middle, because now you're in a 3-1 count where the pitcher kind of has to throw you a strike. So summit hitter was trying to look for something he could take.
Vikings are bringing the infield in. The 3-2, I guess it wasn't 3-2. The scoreboard said it was, but so I'm not sure what the count is then. But
I guess now
it wasn't ball 4, so that's a good thing for the Vikings. This is the 9-hitter.
And good job keeping the ball in front as well. It could have been a wild pitch, could have scored someone. Run.
Yeah, good job by Braden Morrison to block that as that's fouled off. So this is Andrew Rempel. He is the right fielder. He's batting 9th for Summit. We'll get you the full lineups in a little bit. That's grounded foul left side. So this is a really important spot in this game. It is early, but the Vikings really want to limit the damage. Summit already with 4 runs. But trust me, Jack, high school baseball games are never over. I've played a lot of high school baseball and coached a lot of high school baseball. So Noah Sosa, we got a timeout by the umpire. No pitch clock in high school baseball.
Yeah.
So the pace.
I would have thought so. This is where you got to take a breath when you're down 4-0.
And that hits him. That's the. Did it hit him or was it foul?
I think he also swung.
No, that was a foul ball.
Yeah.
Tough to tell on the monitor. I should have waited instead of making the call.
But this is where, you don't have a clock, you can take a breath, even especially in a 3-2 count where it's big. So you can, instead of having a clock bear down, you kind of breathe down your neck. You can take a few seconds.
And he checked his swing. Umpire's going to check. Oh, no, the base umpire calls him out. How about that?
I thought he went around.
Tough to tell on the monitor, but initially the batter was going to first on a walk, but then the home plate umpire checked with the base umpire and he called him out. Again, tough to tell on the monitor, but that is a huge moment in this game. So there's now 2 outs. Vikings move the infield back. So it goes to the top of the order. This is Shane Walsh, the center fielder for Summit. I mean, that's a huge call, Jack, because if that's a walk, you got 5-0 Summit, 1 out, bases loaded. Instead now it's 4-0 Summit, bases loaded with 2 outs.
Yeah.
So that's a big call in this game. Again, tough to tell on the monitor. We really can't tell whether he swung or not. It did look close.
Yes. It did look like something an umpire would call. We're not the ones that are calling it. It looked so close that, that's their kind of job.
Well, one thing I'll say about it is that umpire in the field is behind the pitcher, and that's not a good angle to check on. The good angles are down the line. So if you see in Major League Baseball, they'll check with the first base umpire, the third base umpire. So that is blooped. It's in there. No, it's not in there.
Yeah,
It's caught.
It's caught, and they just tossed it kind of for fun.
Yeah, well, bear with me on the tech here. We'll get it going best we can. But that ball is caught by the right fielder, so it concludes the top of the first. Vikings limit the damage. Summit does score 4, however. End of a half inning of play. It's the Hilltoppers 4 and the Vikings coming to bat here on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. We're back here for the bottom of the first against Summit with the 4-0 lead. So for the Vikings, Chris Wilson, the center fielder, is going to lead off. For Summit, the pitcher is and that's a hit batsman. We got another hit by pitch. This time it's a Vikings hitter that gets hit with the pitch. So the Vikings have the leadoff batter on to start the bottom of the first. So the Summit pitcher, I'm looking at their lineup card. Jack, I think that's an L. I'm not sure. TJ Flack. He bats second in the lineup. We'll check on that. That's inside.
I guess that's ball one up there.
That was ball one. Greg Valoria, the shortstop, and sophomore, is up for the Vikings.
I don't know if they were going to call. He hit him again. I don't really see that well. Like, waiting a second.
Throw over. Checking on Wilson.
Gotta get that jersey dirty early in the game.
Well, you're not going to get dirty on the turf.
Oh, no.
But usually you get dirty on that.
Yes,
but
yes.
on the turf here at UC, you don't. The only dirt is the mound. That's way wide, and that gets away. That'll go as a wild pitch. Chris Wilson will take second base. So Vikings in business early again, Jack. These games is a long way to go.
Yeah, on a 2-0 count, it's now like kind of hitter's count. You can hit up the middle. I guess like a single in baseball, you would think, oh, he only goes one base, but to second, the guy on second usually goes home on a single. Usually looks to go home most of the time. It's a good hitter's count.
There's a strike. On deck for the Vikings is Mikey Pellegrino. Wilson Bluff going to third. That counts 2-2 on Valoria. Pitch, breaking ball low. He doesn't offer, so count goes full. Runner on second, nobody out, bottom of the first. Summit leads 4-0, got timeout.
Big spot for the hitter and for the pitcher as well.
So Coach Bonadies is with us now. He said that the bases were loaded when the umpire got hit. 3-2 is upstairs, so there's a walk. The Vikings have the first two runners on. So they're in business here in the bottom of the first as Mikey Pellegrino, the sophomore, and first baseman comes to the plate for Union Catholic. So we got a doubleheader here at UC today. Softball team, varsity team will be in action later on against Linden. That game will take place shortly after the baseball game. At this pace, softball might be starting later in the afternoon, but we'll see. There's a strike. Stays late till what, like 7:30 now? So we got time. Just like it to be over by the Final Four tonight at 6:07. And there's a strike. So Pellegrino's on deck. Nick Pellegrino, the senior, who pitched very well on opening day, went 6 1/3. He is a designated hitter today, hitting for Aiden Quinn, the second baseman. That's upstairs. That's grounded foul.
I think that would be 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So 2 strikes on Mikey Pellegrino. The umpire calls time.
These batters for UC are putting together good bats. You see it getting down to 2 balls or 3 balls. You're getting down to those type of counts where you're not letting the pitcher just deal and throw all the strikes. You're getting down to those type of ball counts.
That's upstairs, so another full count.
Yeah, more full counts, which is good for the hitters, getting in good at bats.
This has the makings of an old Yankees-Red Sox game where there are a lot of full counts and a lot of runs and slower pace. The payoff pitch comes. There it is. It's upstairs, not the payoff pitch. So I got to get my act together with the count. It's definitely 2 strikes on him.
Yeah.
That is fouled off. A lot of deep counts here, a lot of pitches. I think we'll definitely be getting into the bullpens today.
This is where you kind of test whose bullpen's better than the other instead of just going, oh, my starting pitcher is good. We gotta use the bullpen.
And
a runner walked to third.
There's a timeout called. Not sure why. Is that it? Did Coach Galletti call an offensive timeout? He's talking to Chris Wilson. So again, first and second, nobody out bottom of the first. Summit leading UC 4-0 in this Mountain Division matchup. Vikings coming in at 1-0 after the opening day victory against Scotch Plains Fanwood. The pitch. Outside, that's ball 4, so the bases are loaded. So the Vikings with a big opportunity here in the bottom of the first to chip away at the Summit lead. And now Summit is going to converge at the mound, all the infielders. That's going to bring up Nick Pellegrino. So a big spot for Pellegrino to get the Vikings closer in this game. As Mr. Breza is watching and listening, he's just sent me a text. He's letting me know what's going on. Nick Anderson is on deck, who's playing third base today. He played second base on opening day. He's a sophomore. So we'll give you the Vikings lineup as we have a little time. So Chris Wilson, leadoff hitter in center field. Greg Valori, the shortstop, batting second. Mikey Pellegrino, the first baseman, batting third. Batting cleanup, Nick Pellegrino, the designated hitter, hitting for Aiden Quinn, the second baseman. Batting fifth, Nick Anderson, the third baseman. Batting sixth, the catcher, Braden Morrison. Batting seventh, the pitcher, Noah Sosa. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Ryan John Killia. And batting ninth, the right fielder, Ryan Benvency. So again, bases loaded, nobody out. Nick Pellegrino. And that pitch is a breaking ball low. So you want to be careful with Nick. He has a lot of power. But you also have nowhere to put him. Unless you're going to give him the old Barry Bonds treatment when they'd walk him with the bases loaded. The 1-0 is a strike. So spring season is underway. That's upstairs, a breaking ball. And being careful with Pellegrino. I'm going to say he's going to come in with a fastball here with the bases loaded. So good opportunity here for Nick to square one up.
This is where you would like to be as a hitter, bases loaded.
Ooh. Aggressive swing, high fastball, count goes to 2-2.
Bases. This is where a hitter would like to be because this is a fastball count here. You can't really do anything like off speed. You have to go right, challenge him. So it's a good place to be as a pitcher. As a hitter.
They're going away. It gets him on a fastball, so back-to-back fastballs up out of the zone. Pellegrino strikes out. So again, I believe his last name is Flack. Maybe we could look that up. I can't tell on the lineup card for Summit. First name's definitely TJ. So good job there by TJ to get Pellegrino to chase on back-to-back pitches. Certainly a strikeout situation. So now there's one out, bases loaded, and Nick Anderson comes to the plate. That's upstairs with a fastball. Bases loaded, one out. Fastball ripped in a left. One run's coming in. There's a second run. And there's a 2 RBI single for Nick Anderson. And the Vikings cut the Hilltoppers lead in half. It's now 4-2 Summit. So that ball was laced into left field. You hunt fastballs and you square them up. You hit line drives. So 2 RBI single for Nick Anderson. Vikings at first and second, one out. That brings up the catcher, Braden Morrison, who is a freshman. And there's a strike in the outside corner. The 0-1. Breaking ball, hit the short. There's one. On to first. A double play to retire the side. But the Vikings do score 2. They cut the Summit lead in half at the end of one inning of play. It's Summit 4, UC 2 on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. We go to the top of the second. Summit with the 4-2 lead over Union Catholic varsity baseball here on this Saturday morning. Noah Sosa back out to the mound for the Vikings. He delivers a fastball low. And there's a breaking ball. Count evens at 1-1. That's bounced. 2-1 count. Fastball strike.
Good pitch there.
Good spot.
Spot I always try to get in MLB The Show, but then I messed it up. Then I messed it up in the video game. I just meter, but he got to go. He painted the corner.
And it's even harder to hit that spot in real life.
Yeah.
That ball's popped up in the. Wow, the wind. Did the wind take that? The wind just took that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Wow. That thing off the bat looked like it was going to the middle of the field, and it just took off, eventually caught in right field. Wow, the wind is really swirling.
Again, the JV game got canceled. Do you think it got canceled because of the wind or no? Or something else?
No, JV got canceled because varsity softball is playing here. Varsity softball was supposed to be, as there's a strike, varsity softball was supposed to be at Linden, but their field wasn't ready to go because of all the rain. So they moved it here because we have the turf, so our field's ready to go. So that's why JV baseball, which is supposed to be after varsity baseball today, got canceled.
Heard they didn't get opening day yet because of the rain.
Yeah, JV's been...
I was away, but I heard the rain was bad here. I mean, not bad, but like there's a lot of days.
There's been a lot of rain. And an earthquake. It's been quite a week. There's a line drive. That's a base hit. So that's in the left field for a base hit. So runner on first, 1 out for Summit. Runner takes off. He's going to get there.
Brandon Morrison did a good job last time. He kept it in front of him. It's just the first baseman was gunning for second. Like the moment the ball was kind of, even stopped. But I think Brandon Morrison did a good job keeping the ball in front of him. Even though the runner took off for second, I think it was a good job. It wasn't like behind him or anything.
Yeah, Morrison has done a good job for the Vikings behind the plate early in the season.
I think that's 1-1.
He's done a good job blocking and receiving. I thought he was very impressive opening day behind the plate, and like you said, continues to do a good job early on here in game number 2. That ball's bounced, a breaking ball. So up now for Summit is the catcher, Chris Miglia. It was Matt Kupek, the third baseman, who had the base hit to left field.
So as a catcher, do you think also a skill set is knowing when to go over the mound visit to your pitcher, knowing like your pitcher and when he's like kind of, like to kind of relax him, calm him down? Do you think that's kind of a skill too as a catcher?
Yeah, I think a big part of being a catcher is leading on the field and particularly working with the pitcher. So yeah, knowing when to call timeout and go out there to talk to the pitcher. You don't want to do it too often. You could overdo it because pitchers will get annoyed with that. I remember I as a high school pitcher, I was never a big fan of the catcher coming out because I wanted to stay in my rhythm. But but there were times where it was necessary for the catcher to come out. So yeah, that's definitely a leadership skill that you develop.
Yeah, he did the Brand Nimmo run over to first base. I know that one for the Mets. He did the running over to first base after a walk.
So it's first and third, one out. And you can see the camera shaking. That's the wind. So it's shaking our camera right now.
It's not the earthquake.
Hope not.
That's what I was thinking. The funny thing is that
Yeah, I mean, they do say there's going to be aftershocks, but
I felt one.
yeah, there was some yesterday. So it's first and third, one out for Summit. They lead 4-2 in the top of the second. That's bounced. Kept in front again by Braden Morrison. Another thing to add about what you were talking about with the catcher going out to talk to the pitcher, the coach,
Yes.
particularly the head coach, maybe the pitching coach might be involved there too, but the coaches will help out with that. So they'll tell them to go talk to the pitcher.
Sometimes
So the coaches definitely are involved with that.
Bigger leagues is more like, you give the pitcher, you give the catcher leeway to do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you get up to the higher levels of ball. So you go college ball and then particularly professional ball, the catchers will just go out there. But coaches will be involved and tell them to go out there and give them a breather. Sometimes they'll tell them to go out there to allow the bullpen get some time to warm up.
Because the Mets have a young catcher, Francisco Alvarez, and they have said he's done a very good job, knowing when the pitcher is, when the pitcher's kind of needs to get calmed down. So I also thought that was something like young catchers like freshmen like Braden Morrison, done a good job in the growth of just knowing when their pitcher's kind of when their pitcher kind of needs to get calmed down.
Runner takes off. Both runners take off. That's going to be a double steal for Summit. And they take a 5-2 lead. Yeah, so as the catchers gain experience, coaches will give them the leeway to go out and talk to pitchers.
Yeah, that's why the Mets fans they were very happy in the experience that our catcher got of getting talking to the pitcher. I only know Mets because I'm a Mets fan. I don't really watch any other baseball but them, sadly.
And that pitch is grounded up the middle. Valoria Fields throws over to first. And that'll be the second out here in the top of the second.
It's a good throw.
He threw a solid strike over to first base.
Good pitch getting it on the ground in the infield. Keeping it in the infield where your players can make a play with it. It's like every single sport, you need to trust your teammates behind you.
First pitch is low. So runner on third. 2 outs for Summit. Top of the second. The Hilltoppers lead 5-2. Second game of the season for Union Catholic. They come in at 1-0. And there's a fastball for a strike.
It's very hard for catchers because they get new pitchers every single day, kind of. That's the kind of thing that I envy about them because they get new pitchers to throw to them every single day almost because you have a whole entire rotation. That's the things I kind of envy with the pitchers.
That's bounce. It gets away, and a run's going to come in. So Summit now takes a 6-2 lead.
Back up by 4, which they were up earlier in the game, 4-0.
Yeah, this one, it feels like this one's going to have a lot more scoring to come, back and forth affair. But as John Sterling, the legendary radio voice of the New York Yankees, says, you can't predict baseball.
You can't predict a lot of sports. That's the beauty of sports. That's why we play, You don't know what's going to happen sometimes.
So 2 outs, it's 6-2 Summit. Fastball strike, swing and miss. And that'll retire the side. So Summit scores 2. End of an inning and a half of play at Summit 6, UC 2. Varsity baseball here on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. To the bottom of the second we go. Summit with a 6-2 lead over UC. Noah Sosa leads off for the Vikings, the pitcher. Fastball up. Sosa, sophomore for Union Catholic. There's a fastball strike. Tough to tell velocity watching on the monitor, but it looks like Flack has some giddy up on his fastball. That one is up, so umpire, that's a ball. Umpire not giving the high strike, it appears, but I think that one was out of the zone. The 2-1 is a fastball.
2-2.
So count even. Vikings trail by 4, bottom of the second. On a chilly, windy Saturday morning. And there's a fastball, strike 3. That was a good pitch, right at the knees. And that's the first out. That's one you just got to try to make some contact and stay alive. That was a good pitch from Flack. And Ryan Jonquilia, the left fielder and sophomore for the Vikings, comes to the plate. Good left-handed hitter. Got some time on varsity last year and did well. One-0 count on Jonquilia. And that is low. So the Vikings' first win of the season was against Scotch Plains Fanwood, as mentioned before. They are in the Watchung division of the Union County Conference. And that's a strike. Fastball. This is a Mountain Division matchup. So you play the teams in your division twice a year, once at home, once away. And there's a fastball inside. Swung on and missed. Go ahead, Jack.
No, I said I thought he went around. I didn't know you saw he went around.
Yeah, he definitely went around on that one. Got tied up on that fastball. And he fouls that one away, so stays alive. Good job there with 2 strikes. Again, Flack, it looks like he got a pretty good fastball.
Did a good job tying up the hitter on the last time.
Flack's kind of got a little bit of an old school wind-up. Takes that step back. You don't see that too much anymore. They've kind of shortened that initial step. I like it. There's strike 3. So 2 up, 2 down for the Vikings.
He had some good, as I would say, like a boxing reference, had some good knockout pitches on a 3-2 count. Some good pitches to send the batters.
Yeah, out pitches.
Yes.
I like that, knockout pitches. We could introduce that into the baseball vernacular. And that is fouled out of play by Ryan Benvency, batting out of the 9 spot, the right fielder, the senior. Yes, again, you see that initial rocker step that Flack takes. More of an old school thing, and they've really shortened up that step now. They do these modified windups. They even have pitchers that go out of the stretch with no one on. I like it though. It gets your lower half. It gets your legs into it. So you always have that ongoing debate in baseball between the old school way, the new school way.
Especially when you're throwing fast, you need to use kind of like every part of your body to push off and to get that kind of to get your high velocity. Yeah. But it's also, you also want accuracy, but you also need to get that velocity up so you can get the.
And that one is looped over the pitcher, and Ben Vinci is going to be out. So a nice play there up the middle.
Good scoop by the first baseman.
So Ben Vinci is retired, and the Vikings are retired at the bottom of the sixth. Excuse me, the bottom of the second. So the Vikings go 1-2-3 at the end of 2 innings of play. It's Summit 6, UC 2 here on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. Struggle with it. To the top of the third, as Sosa starts with a breaking ball. Nice breaking ball. The sun has peaked out. That's a good thing. It'll warm it up a little bit. I tell you, I was down by the field getting the lineups before the game around 9:45. It was chilly. That's a big part of it today, too, Jack. When you're playing in cold weather in baseball, you really have to...
You don't like getting jammed in cold weather.
Oh, it's terrible getting jammed. It's tougher to grip the ball. It's tougher to play overall. It's the focus. It's being able to lock in and just play the game and tune the weather out. But it's challenging. I always found it challenging. It's not as fun playing baseball when it's cold versus in the warm weather, the good spring weather, the summer weather, but you have to be able to mentally lock in and just play. That's grounded to the right side. Quinn has it go under his glove. So that'll go as an E4. Aiden's a short-handed second baseman. Does a good job at second base. But Summit gets their leadoff runner on. And that's a hit batsman. So the batter squared around a bunt, pulled it back, gets hit by the pitch in the back. So it's first and second. Summit set up here in the top of the third. So this is where you really got to bear down, Jack. Baseball, I know all the sports are, but baseball is such a mental game. So you had an error. Like I said, Aiden Quinn's a very good second baseman. So his challenge now is to just move on, go to the next play. Noah hits the batter, so now it's first and second, nobody out. But you just got to keep moving forward and have a short memory and now attack this next hitter. As Summit squares around a bunt, ball gets away.
Pitching is all mental because you're by yourself. And I think also in basketball, as we say, free throws. Sometimes free throws are mental because you're kind of by yourself at that line.
Yeah.
Especially if they're technical foul, no one really goes back there. So it's mental. And pitching and free throws, I know people are like, oh, that's two different sports, but I think it's kind of the same thing. You're by yourself. You're alone.
Throw to second. The runner's back. Good throw there by Morrison. Impressive throw. Yeah, so Morrison really has a lot of ability, a lot of potential as a catcher, good skills, throws the ball well, and that was a strike on a pickoff attempt.
Yeah,
And that's a good play. You're taught that on a. Oh, go ahead, Jack. I'll let you jump in there.
My coach used to tell me like pitching is like being a pitcher is one of the most loneliest kind of places to.
Throws again. He's safe. So that there, Jack. That's what you're taught as a catcher. So Braden's showing his baseball IQ there. On a bunt, the runners are gonna get a good secondary lead because they want to advance to the next base. So if they miss the bunt, you're taught as a catcher to throw that backside. So that's a good job by Braden Morrison.
So going back to your pitching point, I think, as I said with my coaches whenever I played baseball when I was younger, is that pitching is kind of the loneliest place. Which I never pitched, but all I was told whenever I pitched, like maybe once, like a year.
There he gets the bunt down. Slips. Throws to first. He's going to wait on it. He's coming off the field, so he's out.
Yeah, as much as it's physical, when you have to throw big velocity, it's mental. You're by yourself, as you said. You're by yourself, and it's a big hurdle block. From like when I played third baseman to go in the pitch for like once a year, it was a big hurdle block for me, being myself.
Yeah, you're kind of alone on an island.
That's why the catcher's so important. I think to get those mound visits as we went back to the stuff we talked about in the first inning. I think that's important too. Yeah. Ties back to it.
You're alone on an island, but then you have to trust your defense. So there's the first pitch that's bounced and stopped on the backhand by Morrison. But you got to trust your defense. It's good to get swing and misses, obviously strikeouts with the ball not being put in play, but you also have to trust your defense to make plays. So you are alone in a sense, and you're starting the action. There's a breaking ball for a strike.
You can't sometimes have that mindset. Also, you can't really have that mindset all the time because, again, if you're a pitcher that likes to get balls on the ground, there's some pitchers in MLB who like to when the ball goes on the ground and trust their defense. Those type of the pitchers that aren't alone because they know their defense is behind them. But,
and there's a philosophical debate now in baseball. Like baseball now is a lot of velocity for the pitchers, exit velocity for the batters. You're trying to get swings and misses, which I think it's obvious that swings and misses are ideal, but
soft contact.
But soft contact is also good.
Pitchers sometimes get jobs off of them being able to hit.
And that's ripped. Nice play by Valoria. Throws to first. Dug by Mikey Pellegrino. What a play on both ends. That's a big out. What a play by Valoria on his glove side. He dives, catches the ball, and then fires one over that was dug out by Mikey Pellegrino. So nice play by the Vikings. Summit does score a run there.
Good play, the scoop of the ball. I think that's sometimes something that doesn't get thought out about him as much about first basemen. You're gonna have to. Sometimes a third baseman might miss a little throw, a little short, and you might have to scoop up the ball in time.
Yeah, and particularly in high school baseball, it's so important to have a first baseman that can make picks. That's good around the bag. It's really important. I mean, it's important at all levels, but I always found particularly high school baseball, it's an important thing. So there is the third out. So the side is retired here.
As we're going to the bottom of the third, right?
So we go to the bottom of the third, end of 2.5 innings of play. It is Summit 6 and Union Catholic 2 on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. We go to the bottom of the third. Summit with a 6-2 lead over the Vikings. Top of the order for the Vikings, Chris Wilson, the center fielder, right-handed batter, and that's a fastball in the inside corner for a strike. TJ Flack back on the mound for the Hilltoppers. And there's a strike, so the count goes to 0-2. That's outside with the fastball.
1-2.
Outside, count evens. Flack goes into his windup. The 2-2 to Wilson. Fouled off. No, not fouled off. Caught it. I got to let the play process here. We're trying to get mid-season form here. One thing you got to do watching on the monitor is wait a minute before you make a call. So one away. And there's a strike. And Flack has a good fastball. He's spotting it. Looks like a pretty good velocity, too. As I said before, as Greg Valoria steps in for UC. There's a breaking ball. He really mixes it up well. I'm impressed with the way Flack pitches. He's a really good idea how to pitch. It's a smart pitcher.
What got me impressed was that Pellegrino at bat, when he was able to make sure Pellegrino didn't extend and get a hit there.
Yeah, that was an impressive job by Flack. Pellegrino's a very good hitter, has a lot of power. He had a 2-1 count on him, elevated a fastball. Pellegrino chased. Pellegrino's looking to be aggressive. There was a ball, but he's looking to be aggressive. But then Flack said, you know what, I'm going to go back up there, and he got another swing and miss with 2 strikes out of the zone. So very impressed with Flack and how he approaches pitching. That's a big thing, Jack. You don't want to just be a thrower. Velocity is important. But again, we were talking about
soft contact.
Yeah, it's you gotta be able to pitch, and you gotta be able to trust your fielders.
Sometimes pitchers make a living off of getting soft contact, and not like that's a bad thing. It's just they do. I mean, some pitchers you want to mix it up. You want one pitcher who can strike and deal, and you want another pitcher who can get some soft contact. And also deal their own way, which is by getting soft contact. You want to mix up kind of your pitchers. It's throw it every night, or evening, or morning, or afternoon.
Whenever the game is.
Whenever they play baseball, because baseball is that type of game where you can play any time. Do you like under the lights baseball? Like more than kind of afternoon, depending on.
I like day baseball better, but. I mean, I like baseball any time of day. I just love baseball. That's lined foul. Well, I tell you what, I didn't mind when I was younger because I would stay up later. Although kids watching and listening out there, get a good night's sleep, go to bed early, wake up early, much better way to do things. But however, when I was younger, I would go to bed later. And the West Coast games now, as I get older, are tough. So the Red Sox, I'm a Red Sox fan, and they've started on the West Coast. So you're on the West Coast, you're playing games that are later. Yeah. You're getting these 10 o'clock starts, 9:40 starts. So I'm not a big fan of that at this point in my life. But
I'm more thinking like baseball under the lights.
That's popped up.
Like on a Friday night. Like 7:30 start under the lights, like Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, just under the lights. As we're local, that's why I said those 2 stadiums. But like under the lights, it's kind of cool. Whatever, you can have lights on. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, when I go to games.
But sometimes it gets too hot. I feel like if you're watching a game from the.
That's a good thing. Well, in the summertime, a day game is tough. You're right. If it's really hot, but. I like a day game if it's not scorching hot. That's my preference. But you're right. Summertime, when you're getting temperatures in the 90s and night games better, And I think there's good things about both. I like that about baseball. The day game, the night game. Mikey Pellegrino steps in. 2 outs, bottom of the third. Summit with the lead. Flack delivers. And a swung on and missed. So he's got swings and misses with his fastball. Again, velocity is definitely important.
And
But you also got to...
He challenged him, like right up the kind of middle. He kind of challenged him there,
Yeah.
too.
That's low. Good spot.
He's not just trying to paint. He's also trying to challenge, trying to mix it up. So it's not just he's painting the whole entire game, putting the onus on the umpire. Sometimes you want to blow by your fastball that you work on.
That's ripped. Pellegrino's going to round first. And he's going to stop at second with a 2-out double. So that ball was hit hard by Mikey Pellegrino. That brings up his brother, Nick Pellegrino, the designated hitter. 6-2, bottom of the third.
Big at bat here for Summit. See if they can get out the inning without a run. But also big at bat for Union Catholic. Get up a run on this. With one of their best hitters up bat.
First pitch to breaking ball. It was interesting to see the sequence that Flack will use here. He struck out Pellegrino on the fastball in his first at bat. Starts him with a breaking ball. Does have a base open and a 4-run lead. That's bounced.
Good stop by the catcher there for Summit.
Mikey Pellegrino stays at second base. He has a big lead as he's trying to score on a base hit. Flack delivers the 1-1 and elevated a fastball again, 1-2. So he's had success in that spot with Nick Pellegrino so far today. Pellegrino with the open stance.
Yeah, because when Pellegrino kind of sees something, he thinks he can hit it, which is fine. I think that's something that if he knows he can hit that.
Pellegrino was right on that one.
Yeah.
So an elevated fastball. Didn't get it as elevated as the pitches that first at bat. So Pellegrino fouls it off and took a good swing. I'm going to say he goes breaking ball here after that swing. Let's see.
He gave him a pitch to hit.
Yeah, that pitch was over the middle. Looks like he's going to an elevated target. And he gets him on the fastball, so an elevated fastball, and Flack gets the strikeout. So the Vikings leave a runner on base in the bottom of the third. End of 3 innings. It's Summit 6, UC 2 on Union Catholic live stream, UC Sports Media.
top of the fourth here in Union Catholic. The wind up, and it's first strike. 0-1. And that's down for a ball. 1-1 here. And good block there by Morrison, getting it down. 2-1 here. And it's hit. And he is safe at first. Summit get their lead on base runner. Their lead off for the inning base runner on. A good grounder that, could go 50-50 sometimes. Could get the out, could not. Good job not making sure it doesn't get to the green, staying in on the infield. Man at first for Summit. Oh, it's out. And that's foul. That was a hit well, but it was foul. Pitcher or the batter takes a break here. Don't know which one it was. Upstairs, drops. Good job there by Morrison.
Pitch from Sosa is inside. Morrison bluffs a throw to second base. So leadoff runner on for the Hilltoppers. 6-2, top of the fourth. Second game of the season for the Union Catholic varsity baseball squad. Morrison throws. It gets in right field, but it's going to be backed up by Bevensey, so no advance. Sosa comes set. Pitch is grounded foul. Runner took off. Has to go back.
Two balls, one strike.
Time is called. Sosa throws over. Runner's back. Quick move there from Noah Sosa. That's bounce. Runner took off. And that's ball four. So first and second, nobody out for the Hilltoppers.
Now that kind of occupies a double play possibility for the normal one, where it goes to second and the first. You can get one either way, but you can get one another way, but usually the one would be step on second, throw to the first. So that's kind of taken away.
Coach Coletti out to the mound to talk to Sosa and the infielders, and Summit will converge as well with an offensive meeting. So the cleanup hitter, Matt Kupek, third baseman, will come up for Summit. TJ Flack, the pitcher, led off the inning. He's on second base right now, and with that walk, Luke Jacobson, the first baseman, is at first. We have Zach Sluka tuned in this morning. Zach, class of 2017 at Union Catholic, Boston College graduate, former baseball and soccer player here at UC, varsity player, both sports, multiple years on varsity. And there's a bunt attempt. Morrison throw to second. Oh! Runner is back.
That'd be a strike though on the batter, right? He didn't pull back the bunt.
I'm not sure what the umpire called there.
I didn't see him pull back the
I
bunt.
think he attempted. Morrison again throws backside on a missed bunt. That's what you do, and the throw beat him. That's hit. It's caught. So the runner from second will tag and go to third. So now runners at the corners with one out for Summit. So that's a productive out as the runner gets to third base with one out. That brings up Chris Miglia, the catcher. Runners at the corners. One down, top of the fourth. Summit leads 6-2. Morrison with another nice play behind home plate. So again, Zach Slukas tuned in. He loved that you were talking about the Mets. He's a huge, diehard Mets fan. I used to call him Mr. Met when he was a student here.
I'm definitely not Mr. Matt. Definitely not at all.
You're Mr. Knicks. You're Mr. Basketball. Coach Jack. Jack did a wonderful job as an analyst, some play-by-play as well, as a commentator for basketball this winter. And there's a strike. That's inside. So again, this Mountain Division matchup, these two teams will play again at Summit later in the season. That's grounded. Across the diamond. That throw gets away. Off the fence, comes back to Mikey Pellegrino. So a run will score. And Summit will have runners at the corners again with one out. It's now 7-2 Hilltoppers. So we'll have a courtesy runner here for the catcher, Chris Miglia. As Ryan Barber, the shortstop, batting out of the sixth spot, will come up for Summit. So 7-2 Hilltoppers. See if they have the runner in motion here. One 0 count. So again, Zach Sluka tuning in. He was an outfielder, a pitcher for the Vikings. Left-handed thrower, left-handed batter. That's bounced. Runner takes off. Runner's going to be in there easily. Head first slide in a second. So now two runners in scoring position. I think the infield will now come in. And it does. Vikings had a couple plays on opening day with the infield in where they threw runners out at the plate. Those were big plays in that game. That ball's laced. And that's going to be in there. in a left field. You got to have 2-run score. And that's a triple.
9-2, I think.
So 9-2 Summit, a triple for Ryan Barber as he ripped that in the left field. So Summit now with a commanding 7-run lead. But again, there's a long way to go as we're here in the middle of the game. Top of the fourth. Coach Coletti's going to take the ball from Noah Sosa. We will have a new pitcher. Which is Ryan Conlon. So Ryan Conlon, the right-handed sophomore, will come in relief. So we'll take a short break. Here in the top of the fourth, Summit leads 9-2. Score is 10-2 Summit. We'll be back in a moment. Ryan Conlon delivers a fastball upstairs as he comes in relief of Noah Sosa. Summit with a 10-2 lead, top of the fourth. And pitches outside, so it's 2-0. Summit with a runner on third. And it's 3-0. And there's a strike, 3-1. One out here in the top of the fourth. So again, Summit with a big lead, but there's plenty of outs left in this game. I was going to say time, but it's really outs. The Vikings have 12 outs to work with, and if you know high school baseball, you know an 8-run lead in the fourth inning is not safe. But having said that, the Vikings would do themselves a favor by getting out of this inning without any more runs scoring. So first and third, one out. They move the middle infield back to double play depth. And runner will take off. And the runner will take off from third, a double steal. So the Vikings throw through. And Summit pulls off a double steal. So they did a fake bunt steal with the runners at the corners.
And I feel like the hitter knew that because he backed off. even though that was a strike. That was a good pitch to hit.
Yeah, so that was by design. That's the fake bunt steal. You
Yeah, because Conlon threw a good pitch to hit for him. He just let that go because of the fake bunt.
So they pull off the double steal. So it's 11-2 Summit. The Vikings opting to throw through there. It was a good throw from Morrison, but not in time, and allowed the runner to score. And that's bounced. Runner takes off. Throw to third. Not in time. So aggressive base running there. And that's a big play. 1 out. Get to third base. It's important. Now you don't need a hit to score a run. You have different options now to score as the Vikings will bring the infield back in. As we have a timeout here as the third base coach is talking with his runner. Vikings wearing the powder blue jerseys. You like the powder blue?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I love that color. It's one of my favorites. Like Carolina blue.
Carolina's not playing today.
Neither is Duke.
Yeah. But you said the Carolina Blues, so that's why.
Yeah.
Duke, I'm not like a fan of Duke. It's not like both of them, not playing today.
Final four tonight. UConn versus Alabama. That's the second game, and the first game is Purdue versus NC State. Last night you had the women's Final Four.
Yes.
South Carolina stays undefeated. They defeated NC State, and then 2-point victory for Iowa against UConn. Yeah, so you'll have South Carolina and Iowa in the title game tomorrow at 3. I believe that's on ABC and ESPN, so that's going to be a big-time matchup with South Carolina undefeated, Caitlin Clark and Iowa. That sets up for a classic game.
As baseball starts, basketball's ending, and basketball is a lot of different sports. As there is in baseball, there's a lot of different, not sports levels to it. So, women's, men's, college. So, a lot of good hoops around, and a lot of good baseball as we start the season.
That swung on and missed. Yeah, the women's tournament has been drawing great ratings. They set an all-time record with the Iowa LSU game, as we have 2 outs here. They had over 12 million viewers. It was last year's championship game was the most viewed women's basketball game of all time. I think it was slightly under 10 million. They had over 12 million for the Elite Eight game between Iowa and LSU, which was the rematch of last year's championship game. So exciting times in college basketball with the Final Four, and then you'll have the national championship game. So that ball's bounced. So 2 outs, Summit with the 11-2 lead here in the top of the 4th. Again, we have varsity softball coming up next as UC will take on Linden. That's outside. So Ryan Conlon, the sophomore right-hander.
Got a strikeout for the second out, which was good to get that first strikeout as you're relieving.
It's grounded to second. Anderson throws to first in time. That retires a side. So we're halfway home. Score at the end of 3.5 innings. It's Summit 11, UC 2 on Union Catholic Livestream, UC Sports Media. to the bottom of the fourth. There's a strike.
UC did a good job earlier in the game, getting into deep counts. It's 0-2 now, but I think we need to get back. That was a
So leadoff runner on, that was Nick Anderson as Braden Morrison comes to the plate.
I think Nick Anderson was the one who hit for Union Cap. One of their runs, he got a big hit for them in one of their first runs.
So Anderson, the sophomore, now playing second base. Vikings trying to get back in this one as Morrison takes a good swing, fouls it off. Again, might seem like 9 runs, bottom of the fourth. It looks bleak, but there really is a long way to go, I'm telling you, from a lot of experience playing and coaching, being involved with high school baseball and streaming as well. These games are not over. You could score in bunches and you could do it quickly.
As Summit has been doing.
It's a hit by pitch.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, Summit's been scoring in bunches, but now the Vikings have that ability to do the same. And if you're Summit, you don't want to give outs away. You don't want to give Union Catholic free bases like that on a hit by pitch. So Flack, who's pitched a very good game to this point, as you said before, Jack, about challenging, I think this is a time now in the game where you want to challenge if you're Flack and Summit.
Like at the end, like you're up by like 9 runs. Like, what do you kind of have to lose if you're gonna challenge with one base on, like with one person on base? What do you have to lose if you're gonna challenge him? But early in the game, yes, if it's 1-1, then you're gonna lose by losing the lead. But now it's like you can challenge and feel safe kind of more.
Count goes to 0-2 on Noah Sosa, who took a strike and then fouled one off there.
It always depends on who the hitter is, though. I think definitely. You don't want to go up and challenge, Pellegrino. Just challenge him randomly, and then he's going to hit you. But
yeah, baseball is very situational. That pitch is upstairs.
It's alone. Being alone, as you get 2 men on, and this stuff is going through, as it's going through our head, it's going through the pitcher's head, and he's all alone. So it's kind of like, just to put that in perspective.
That's upstairs 2-2. This is a situation, Jack, where you have first or second, nobody out. If it was a closer game, this would be a good swing and miss strikeout situation as to not allow the runner from second to get the third with less than 2. But with a 9-run lead, you should be more prone to challenge and just get an out recorded. And a swing and miss. So another swing and miss that Flack gets on a fastball for a strikeout. So there's one away here in the bottom of the fourth.
He shows some good velocity, as you said, but also it's shown that he knows where to put the pitches. So if you're going to throw velocities right up the middle, some of the best hitters are going to be able to hit that. But sometimes you need to be able to place it upstairs. You need to know, this hitter doesn't like it when it's upstairs, so let's try to throw it upstairs.
And it's such a tough pitch to lay off, particularly with 2 strikes. Like it looks enticing. It is a ball, but it's close enough where you could get a chase. If that ball's higher, he throws that pitch higher, you're not going to get a chase. So that's a good spot to get a chase, swing and miss, and a strikeout.
Especially if you're like a very good hitter and you see that ball, you're like, okay, I'm going to smash this ball. It's kind of in the strike zone in your eye. It's a different eye when it's happening in real time. So
as a catcher will go out to talk to Flack.
It's really hard as you see it. It's like, oh, why did you swing at this? But in real time, it's really hard to lay off. It's like oh, I'm watching the game, 95 mile per hour up the middle. 95 mile per hour painted. Like, why'd you swing at that? But it's hard to kind of, if you're in that shoes, it's hard to lay off.
Ryan Jonquillia, left-handed hitter at the plate, as Flack throws a second on an inside move. See the camera shaking a bit. I think that's the wind. It is a windy morning here. That's swung on and missed by Jonquillia. So first and second one out. Vikings trailing here in the bottom of the fourth. That's fouled off. Scoreboard said 12 before, now says 11. So 11-2 Summit.
I think it's 2-2. That's what I have here.
2 strikes on Jonquillia. And fouled off, so he's staying alive. So you got to do with 2 strikes. Fouled off, get another pitch.
Especially with the pitcher for Summit, getting down to later innings. As he's been dealing, he's been pitching very well, but you want him to get out the game. You want to see what the bullpen can have. So as you keep fouling out pitches,
Yeah, you definitely want to elevate his pitch count. There are pitch count rules in high school baseball.
Oh, I just know it as like getting tired. That's all I'm thinking about.
You're right, Jack. Yeah, it's fatigue, and it's also the rules that are in place for New Jersey high school baseball, which I'll get those rules and share it with our audience. That's fouled off. Good at bat from Jonquillia.
That's why I say you try to make foul off as much pitches as possible, especially when your gets a pitcher is very good and has his stuff so far as we get later in the game. You gotta try to make sure he can feel fatigued, at least feel you, like in baseball sense, feel that you're gonna be there. You're not gonna go swinging at a pitch up the middle. You're not gonna swing like your head is off. You're gonna be able to swing and get a piece of it. You have to throw you something really good to get you out. It's tiring as a pitcher.
Another 2-strike pitch to Jonquillia. Outside. First and second. 1 out. Bottom of the fourth. Summit with an 11-2 lead. Pitch swung on and missed, so Flack records another swinging strikeout. 2 outs now. That'll bring up the right fielder, senior Ryan Benvency. So I have the pitch count rules from the NJSIAA website. I'll share that. And might be getting a pitching change here.
Is it sometimes about matchups too? About matchups, about like what hand you kind of throw with, or like what side the batter?
In terms of
Yes, matchups.
what decision the coach makes in terms of the pitching? Yeah, definitely matchups. I don't think he's playing matchups now in an 11-2 game, but yeah, matchups certainly play into it.
Well, yeah, if it's a closer game, just like the matchups are gonna. As much as Flack's probably dealing right now, but you're in an 11-2 game. But even if it was a closer game, even though Flack's dealing, if the coach doesn't see, that's all about managing. That's the tough thing about managing, is do you want to weigh how good the guy's pitching or
Can you see?
matchups.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Jack. Just trying to see what number that is pitching. Is that number 11?
Yes.
I'm looking on the scorecard for number 11. I don't see a number 11. Well, we do have a pitching change. We know that. So Flack went 3 2/3 inning, pitched a very good ball game, a very good performance, an outing from TJ Flack. So again, it's 11-2 here in the bottom of the fourth. We'll take a short break. I'll be back here on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. So we're back 2 on. Runners on first and second, 2 outs, bottom of the fourth. Ryan Benvency, right-handed hitter, batting out of the 9 spot for the Vikings. And another timeout. That's hit in the left. That's going to get down. Run's going to score. So an RBI single for Ryan Benvency. And Summit now leads 11-3. So Benvency with the RBI single with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. That'll bring up the top of the order Chris Wilson, the center fielder. The Vikings looking to chip away here, get back in this game. They got 10 outs to work with. There's a strike in the outside corner. So runners at the corners for UC with 2 outs. Breaking ball strike, swung on and missed. Count goes to 0-2.
And the hitters we might see some different approaches, different pitchers.
And that drops in there for a base hit. Run's going to score. Benvency to third, an RBI single for Chris Wilson. It's now 11-4 Summit. So the Vikings doing what they really need to do. Chip away, score some runs here. You don't have to get them all back in this bottom of the fourth, but get it closer. Close that gap. It's now 11-4. That brings up Greg Valoria. First and third, 2 outs. Runner takes off. It's cut off. Throw to third. Not in time. That was a good play there by Summit.
That was so quick.
The catcher did a good job in that to fire a strike. Make it look like it was being thrown to second base. Pitcher cuts it off and attempts to get the runner at third. But Benvency was alert, as was Coach Coletti, and he got back in safely. So we got second and third, 2 outs. That pitch is upstairs. Big spot here for UC. Valoria needs to do what Benvency and Wilson did. Just an RBI single. He could score 2 runs here. And that misses.
Hard to see on the monitor, but that looked like a pretty good pitch, but hard to see.
Looked like a good pitch, tough to see. It looked like a pitch that he's been calling a strike, but like you said, Jack, you're right. It is tough to see as we watch on the monitor. Gives that one a strike. That was a pitch I thought before that he didn't call.
It's a different. We'll see some different approaches from different batters because it's a different pitcher. So I think that pitchers hitters, you'll see different approaches because the other pitcher for Summit was dealing, so we'll see a different approach.
There's a strike. So 2 strikes on Valoria. So he went with the elevated fastball and then spots a fastball in the lower part of the strike zone. So 2 strikes. Summit leads 11-4, bottom of the 4th. Second and third, 2 outs. Pitch, fouled off. Valoria stays alive. Again, that's what you got to do with 2 strikes. See another pitch.
In everyone's dream world, that'd be a home. That'd be like a hit. But if you can see a different pitch, you can see maybe one time you get like a easy pitch to hit. You just gotta stay alive to see.
That's ripped, and it's down. 1 run scores. Wilson's gonna stop at third. So that's the 3rd consecutive RBI single for the Vikings. This time it's Greg Valoria, and it's now 11-5. Vikings chipping away.
Yeah, that's why you try to foul off the first pitch, because now you're gonna get a pitch that you can see and hit.
Exactly. Kept the at-bat alive and then got a pitch to hit and hit a fastball up the middle to drive in the run. So runners at the corners. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. It's now 11-5. Mikey Pellegrino to the plate. There's a breaking ball strike.
Now with big hitters like that, they usually watch the first pitch because they want to turn the ball, so they usually look at the first pitch, see what the pitcher's giving you, definitely with a different pitcher, see what the first pitch can offer. That's why he laid off.
That's upstairs. Good point there, Jack. You have a new pitcher in the game, so maybe you want to see a pitch. Different philosophies there, different approaches. My mindset is if I get a pitch to hit there first pitch, I'm going to swing. Get a good fastball first pitch. If it's not there, then you take it.
But sometimes I see hitters in Major League. I know I'm trying to compare that, but that's kind of the only baseball I watch. But they see, the pitch. They see the first one. They let them see it.
Valoria takes off and gets second base easily. So now 2 runners in scoring position. 2-1 count on Mikey Pellegrino. Nick Pellegrino on deck. Summit leads 11-5. Vikings have scored 3 here in the bottom of the 4th, all with 2 outs. That's skied. And it's going to be caught by the center fielder to retire the side. Vikings leave 2 on base, but they score 3. They're chipping away at the end of 4 innings of play. It's Summit 11, Union Catholic 5 on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. Top of the 5th, Varsity baseball, this Mountain Division matchup. Summit leads UC 11-6. I'm sorry, 11-5.
Because you said they only scored 3 runs.
Scored 3 runs, yes. And breaking ball swung on and missed. So Vikings, again, closing the gap. It was 11-2. Now it's 11-5. They got 9 outs to work with. Really need a 0 here, though, with Ryan Conlon on the bump. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed.
Good pitch there. Do a fastball first and then let him off with a breaking ball. Or not, free pitch.
Ryan pitched varsity last year and did a good job.
Got some weak contact on the third one, even though it went foul, but got some weak contact. So Ryan Conlon is kind of, as I would say, in control. You know, he kind of controls it. And, you know, he's kind of in control of the situation right now. Because he got a swing and miss in the first 2 pitches and then got a weak contact. So it kind of is trending up for him.
Conlon delivers. That's upstairs. Yeah, Conlon did a good job as a freshman. Showed a lot of potential and promise. And now here he's, as a sophomore, coming in relief in today's ball game. That's a break ball outside. He's got a quick windup.
As I say, there's some hitters counts you said, as everybody says, but I think there's some pitchers counts.
Oh, that's for sure.
Pitches, you know, that are kind of like baloney, as I would say. They're like outside.
Baloney. That's we're gonna put that in the baseball vernacular too. That swung on and missed for the first out.
Like throw some outside, you know, breaking.
Yeah, they call them the waste pitches. I never like that term. To me, there should be no pitch as a waste. The term I like is purpose pitch, but maybe the baloney pitch. Something new there from Coach Jack. Are you a baseball coach too?
I don't know. Manager? It's always so hard. I think managing baseball is so hard because, you know, as I said, it's like you have so much people in the bullpen and stuff. As much as, you know, like you have people on the bench, but I feel like it's like you have to feel the game. I feel like as a manager, you have to feel like when's the right spots to pull. You have to feel your pitcher on the mound.
Well, the new school crowd would say you got to go by the metrics and the analytics and the data.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree with you that there is feel involved. There's experience. There's knowing the game, knowing situations, knowing your players.
And the Mets have a new manager, and I feel like people are people are saying, "Oh, this guy did this wrong." Well, it's so much stuff that the guy could have done. Like, oh, you shouldn't have.
Well, you also got to give him a chance. I mean, the Mets have played 7 games, so let the guy get some experience.
That's always something like, you know.
Carlos Mendoza is the manager of the Mets now. That pitch is upstairs.
It takes a lot of experience, and I feel like there's a lot more, like, as you said, metrics, but I feel like metrics kind of tie in when there's a guy in first and third, and your pitcher's kind of, you know, huffing and puffing. You know, you have to, over metrics, if your pitcher's huffing and puffing.
That's going to be caught by Chris Wilson. 2 up, 2 down. So this would be great for the Vikings. They can get a 0, get back in there, swing the bats. Trail by 6, bottom of the 5th. As mentioned, they were down 9. It was 11-2. Now it's 11-5. Sun's out. Wasn't out before. It was cloudy, cold, and windy. Now I think it's sunny, chilly, and windy. Looks like it's windy because our camera is still rocking a bit. Breaking ball's bounced. We have a doubleheader here today at UC. The varsity softball is playing after the baseball game. Softball is taking on the Linden Tigers. Game was supposed to be at Linden, but with the rain we've had this week, a lot of rain, Linden's field was not ready, as I'm sure many fields are not playable after all the rain. So we have turf here at UC, so we're on. We'll be playing softball in a little while. as there's a walk, so 2 out, base runner for Summit. That's hit. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Summit's going to have, no, it's not. I did it again, Jack. I did it again. So it was caught. Well, that ends the top of the 5th. So the Hilltoppers leave 1 on base. They don't score. At the end of 4.5, it's Summit 11, Union Catholic 5 on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. Back here, bottom of the 5th, Summit with the 11-5 lead over UC. So, Jack, I was talking before about the pitch count rules in New Jersey high school baseball. So this is from the NJSIAA website. A pitcher cannot exceed 150 pitches in a 5-day calendar period. A pitcher cannot pitch on 3 consecutive calendar days. If a pitcher throws 30 or less pitches in an outing, there's no rest required. 31 to 50 pitches, 1 day rest. 51 to 70 is 2 days rest. 71 to 90 is 3 days rest. And 91 to 110 is 4 days rest. So you're not allowed to throw over 110 pitches in an outing. If you're in the middle of an at-bat, you go over 110. You could complete the at-bat and then come out of the game. So those pitch count rules and the rest rules very much factor in to the pitching with high school baseball in the state of New Jersey.
Pitching it could get tiring. I mean, being alone and also throwing so much pitches. That's just rest. You need rest and recovery.
And Pellegrino rips that, Jack, and it drops in for a base hit. So leadoff single for Nick Pellegrino. You continue on, Jack, with...
Yeah, the pitch count rules. I mean, pitchers definitely need rest. They throw. Sometimes you see some. I don't want to wish anything, but like you see these injuries. I mean, man, pitching's a hard thing to do. Definitely with the arm and a lot of velocity that people are throwing nowadays.
Fouled off by Nick Anderson, who started the game at third. He's now at second. Sophomore. Nick Pellegrino on first, the designated hitter today. Was a starting pitcher. Opening day against Scotch Plains Fanwood. Very good outing. Went 6 1/3. The Vikings came away with the opening day victory by a score of 8-3 over the crosstown rival Raiders. And that's hit to second, and it's caught. Throw to first, not in time. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Brings up the catcher, Braden Morrison. Fastball upstairs to Morrison. The 1-0. Fastball outside corner. Count evens at 1-1. Breaking ball is bounced, no advance.
Good job working the count here by Morrison. 2 balls for 1 strike. Trying to get him into a hitter's count because he can really hit. Brandon Morrison can really hit. And get himself into a hitter's count is going to be something that can really unlock him.
That's grounded foul. Anderson will go back to first base. Count evens at 2-2. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Again, Summit with the 11-5 lead. Summit jumped up early, top of the 1st. They scored 4 runs.
Union Catholic, I think they came back with 2 of their own. You see.
Runner takes off. Anderson is safely into second base, so the count goes full, and the Vikings have a runner at scoring position. Yeah, the Vikings came back with 2 runs, made it 4-2, and then Summit scored 7 unanswered, made it 11-2, and then the Vikings scored 3 in the bottom of the 4th, and that's where we stand now, 11-5 Hilltoppers. Full count to Morrison. Pitch. It's hit in the air. And it's caught by the center fielder. It's a throw back in, so it's 2 away.
So that was a hard hit ball there. That shows kind of the power from Morrison, even though it didn't go out. But I think that's some very good power for him. And a 2-2 count.
So Vikings will bring up, I believe, Noah Sosa out of the 7 spot. He started as the pitcher for UC, and there's a strike. That's grounded. And throws a first in time. That retires a side. So the Vikings leave one stranded. They don't score in the bottom of the 5th. At the end of 5, it's Summit 11, UC 5 here on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. To the top of the sixth we go. Summit with the 11-5 lead over Union Catholic. Varsity baseball action here at Union Catholic High School on this Saturday morning. Spring season in its first week of the regular season. Teams have been at it in this spring season since the middle of March, as they started with pitchers and catchers and regular practices.
I mean, these baseball players have been working for a long time to get to this place in the spring.
Well, that's for sure. They work all off season. There's a lot that goes into it. We have a ground ball to the left side. The throw is over to first in time, so one away quickly. Exactly what the Vikings need. They need another zero. Again, this game far from over. You can score runs in bunches, but they definitely need another zero here in the top of the sixth.
Conley's done a very good job on the mound today. He's been very good. I know he started, but I feel like this year they put him in a relief role for now. So it's very good he's been able to adapt.
Well, it's good that pitchers could do both. Those swing pitchers, right? They could relieve, they could start. That versatility is very beneficial to a team.
Because sometimes the bullpen gets, it gets really bad. I mean, it gets down to the nitty gritty of the bullpen. You're just like.
And a throw gets away. So Valoria made the play in the hole and throws it over the head of the first baseman, Mikey Pellegrino. That goes as a base hit. That's a tough play in the hole. Strong arm that Valoria has. It just airmailed that one, but that's going to go as a base hit. So 1 on, 1 out for Summit. Runner takes off, fake bunt steal, and it's successful. So you've seen Summit do that a couple times now. So they have a runner in scoring position at second base with 1 out here in the top of the sixth. Coach Burns is watching today. The legendary Coach Burns, longtime pitching coach here at Union Catholic. Longtime baseball coach here in Union County. As Conlon looks to second on the inside move. There's a breaking ball strike. As I was talking about Coach Burns, longtime pitching coach here at UC. He was a Roselle Legion baseball coach. Roselle Legion won the 1983 state championship. Senior Legion baseball, American Legion. Coach been around a long time coaching baseball in this area. Everyone knows him. You're involved in high school baseball, you know Coach Burns. Great guy. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3, so there's 2 away. Coach is a wealth of baseball knowledge. Pitching guru. A lot of great stories. He's watching on the stream right now. Him and I were actually on staff a couple of years ago together. On Coach Coletti's staff. Coach Coletti's in his 3rd year as the head coach of the varsity baseball team. He was an assistant before that, and Coach played here at Union Catholic. He's class of 14. He was a 4-year varsity player, Coach Coletti. Very good career here. Pitcher, third baseman, left-handed hitter. Went on to play in college.
Yeah, I think that kind of the theme of that is that they love the sport. I think that they keep with it and they try to help in whatever they can do. If they're from a baseball player to a coach. It's just a very good sport, baseball, and I think all sports. You see players who played go into coaching roles in basketball and football. Like, people love these sports, and I think that's very good for them. People that keep to love a sport.
Well said. That certainly applies to Coach Coletti and Coach Burns that I'm talking about here. They have a passion for the game. That's big, Jack. You're right. You got to have a passion and love for whatever you're doing, and if you're coaching.
I know NBA coaches can go down like a list, and they're like they all played before. Doc Rivers played, like those type of they all played before, and almost all of them played before, and it shows that they love sports, and I think it's something that people will bring with them.
You're absolutely right. And you can see that in the way that Coach Coletti runs the program, the passion that he brings and the competitiveness, and his players feed off of that.
And the knowledge you get from playing.
And that swung on and miss on a breaking ball. That's going to retire the side. So, Jack, as you said, Ryan Conlon doing an excellent job in relief. Another 0 thrown up. So that's 2 scoreless frames in a row for Summit. So we're at the end of 5.5 innings of play. We're going to go to the bottom of the 6th. Summit with an 11-5 lead here on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. To the bottom of the 6th. Summit and Union Catholic. Again, in this Mountain Division matchup. So the Vikings trail by 6. They have 6 outs remaining to work with. And I'll tell you, Jack, as we've been talking about, the game's never over, particularly at this level of baseball. 2 years ago, when our varsity team, I'll tell you, after this pitch, it swung on a miss. So 2 years ago, when our varsity baseball team played Summit here at Union Catholic, our team had an 8-0 lead going to the top of the 7th, and Summit scored 6 runs. Now, we wound up winning 8-6, and that's bounced to the right side. Play is made by the first baseman, 1 up and 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. So we were up 8-0 going to the top of the 7th. Summit scores 6 runs. And I don't remember how many runners they left stranded in the top of the 7th, but it was 8-6, and they had a couple runners on. It was either bases loaded or 2 guys on, but they got the winning run up to the plate in the top of the 7th. We held on and won 8-6, but it just goes to show you that the game is never over. So right now, the roles are reversed. Union Catholic is down 6 runs with 5 outs to work with. So this is Ryan Benvency, the senior right fielder for Union Catholic. Going to look to elevate. Instead, misses inside. Many games over the years, too, Jack, with comebacks in high school baseball. And that swung on, and it drops for a base hit for Ryan Benvency. So Vikings get a base runner. Chris Wilson, top of the order, the center fielder. So the Vikings need base runners. Get on any way you can.
When you were coaching, what would you want as your number one hitter? Like, would you want them to be like kind of speedy, like when you were coaching, or like big hitter?
Number one, someone who could get on base and get on base a lot. So someone that knows the strike zone really well, is disciplined, good approach at the plate, someone who could get on. And then speed, I definitely value out of the leadoff spot. Modern baseball's kind of gone away from that speed is not required in the leadoff spot. I think it's very beneficial to have speed in the leadoff spot, particularly in high school baseball. I could see in Major League Baseball it being different. You got Kyle Schwarber, who leads off for the Phillies, which I personally disagree with, but I guess it works for Philadelphia. So it is different at the Major League level, but high school ball, definitely someone that gets on base and someone that has speed, but also a good base runner. It's not just speed, it's a good base runner as well, because you could have speed and not necessarily be a good base runner or a base stealer. But it definitely helps to have speed. As Benvency takes off, that's lined into right field. It gets down. Benvency is going to round second, go to third. He's going to be in standing. Chris Wilson with the base hit. Vikings now have runners at the corners with one out. So Wilson laces that into right field. And he does his job. So Vikings need to keep getting base runners. Greg Valoria stands in. And Wilson takes second base easily. Another thing is I like the leadoff hitter to be someone who could bunt too. I love the bunt base hit, as Coach Griff. And that's a breaking ball inside. So it's 11-5. Summit, second and third, one out, bottom of the sixth. There's a strike. So Coach Griff is here with us right now. Coach is the head coach of Linden softball, second year. So Linden will take on the Vikings after today's baseball game. There's a strike. Coach Griff was on the baseball staff here at UC, varsity level, for how many years?
2.
2 years? You were the JV coach before that.
Yep.
Pitch to Valoria is inside. Mikey Pellegrino on deck. Nick Pellegrino in the hole. Time is called. Pitcher out of the windup, second and third, one out. Fouled off. So Valoria spoils that one to stay alive. It was 11-2, now it's 11-5. Pitch to Valoria. It's grounded. Throw to first is in time. That'll score a run. So an RBI ground out for Greg Valori. It's now 11-6.
There's a man on third.
See, got Mikey Pellegrino, the 3-hitter, sophomore. The right-hander's batter's box for the Vikings. His brother Nick, the DH, is on deck. There's a fastball strike outside corner. So you don't got to get it all back in this inning. It'd be nice to get this runner in. Also, you're the middle of the order now, 3 spot. Count is 1-1 on Mikey Pellegrino. Swung on and missed. So again, Ryan Conlon has come in relief for UC and thrown up 2 scoreless innings in the 5th and the 6th. Noah Sosa was the starter. That's outside. Count evens at 2-2. TJ Flack went 3 2/3 for Summit. Had a good outing. There's a breaking ball, strike 3, got him looking, and that retires aside. So the Vikings get 1. They leave 1 at the end of 6. It's Summit 11, Vikings 6 on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. Top of the 7th. As that was dribbled to the pitcher, and the runner reaches, so Summit has a leadoff runner on to begin the top of the 7th. As we have a new pitcher for UC, it's Matthew Weddle, the senior. Weddle came in to close out the opener. He got the final 2 outs of that game against SPF. As Morrison throws to first, it's knocked down by Mikey Pellegrino. Weddle is a strike-throwing machine. Pounds a strike zone. Did a terrific job for the Vikings in relief last year. He'll be a big part of the staff this year. That throw to second is not in time. Gets away, but it's backed up. So runner on second, nobody out in the top of the 7th. The Hilltoppers. Vikings trail by 5. Again, varsity softball next. Union Catholic versus Linden. You'll have Coach Bonadise taking on Coach Griff. They got a good storyline there. Coach Bonadise was the JV baseball coach when Coach Griff was here on the varsity staff. And now both of them are head varsity softball coaches going up against one another this afternoon at UC. And that's fouled off. I was on that baseball staff with them a couple of years ago. I'll be calling the game this afternoon. Jack is leaving us after the baseball game, but he'll be back here and doing a lot of games and matches this spring. That's fouled off. Again, if you watched a lot of UC basketball this winter, you heard Jack. Jack was our main student analyst on the games. Did some play-by-play as well on the sub-varsity level. Jack's a big part of our In the Vault show. And that is going to be caught by Chris Wilson, so one away runner doesn't advance. So we'll be having some In the Vault shows coming up, Jack, talking some pro sports, college sports. Jack will be talking a lot of Knicks and NBA as we work our way towards the NBA playoffs in a couple weeks. And that drops in there. And the runner is safe at second, so Summit is going to have second and third with one out, so that drops in there for a double. The Vikings will bring the infield in. They can't afford for another run to score, so they will definitely try to cut this run off. Swung on a miss. Looked like a breaking ball from Weddle as he gets ahead. The 0-1. It's popped up in the infield. Playable. The wind takes it. It drops in. Run's going to score. So the wind wreaks havoc on that pop-up. and Summit takes a 12-5 lead. I mean, you saw that ball off the bat. That looks like it's routine, maybe at the edge of the green and the brown turf. But it just took off, and it went over the head of Nick Anderson as the infield was in. So now it's first and second with one out, and that's skied. Carries, and Chris Wilson makes the play. The runner from second will tag and go to third. Chris throws it all the way in. So now runners at the corners with 2 outs for Summit.
12-6.
Yeah, you get wind like that, it gets tricky. And it's one of those things you don't really practice. I mean, you do get wind like this sometimes, and you try to practice it, but it is tough to simulate. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Summit with a 12-6 lead. Weddle delivers, and that's hit. It's going to get down for a base hit. Run's going to score. It's bobbled. Runner is going to round. Here's the throw. It's wide. Gets away. 2-run score on the play. Batter runner gets to second base. He'll be credited with an RBI. The second runner scores, but that was on the bobble, on the error. And Summit takes a 14-6 lead. So they open it back up. Again, it was 11-2. Vikings cut it to 11-5. And now we're at 14-6. So that's a big hit. It gives Summit the 8-run advantage in the top of the 7th. Yeah, so that'll go as 1 RBI. The second run scores on an error. And then a second error on the throw. So 2 errors on the play. Weddle comes set, looks to second, and he hits him. So that's another hit batsman in this game. There's been multiple. You see hit batsmen more, I think, early in the year. Colder weather, tougher to grip the baseball. Early in the season, I've always found that you see more hit batsmen, which is rough on the hitters because it tends to be colder earlier in the year. So first and second, 2 outs for Summit. It's bounced. Runners take off. That's a good read. So now they have 2 runners in scoring position. If you're Summit, you would love to score these 2 runs. Again, you got an 8-run lead. It's a sizable lead, but that's swung and missed. But again, as I said before, 2 years ago, Union Catholic had an 8-run lead going to the top of the 7th, wound up being 8-6, and Summit got the winning run of the plate. So the Vikings still have a chance here. But it gets away. The run is going to score. It's now 15-6. Runner on third, 2 outs. Pitches outside. Weddle delivers upstairs, and that'll be ball 4. So runners at the corners with 2 outs for the Hilltoppers. As the Vikings will have a mound visit. We'll be back in a moment. First and third, 2 outs. Summit with the 15-6 lead here in the top of the 7th. Pitches outside. The 1-0. It's bounced, gets away. Runner's going to advance. That's now second and third, 2 outs for the Hilltoppers. That's upstairs. Count goes to 3-0. There's a strike. Sun is out here at Union Catholic. That one is looped in front of Anderson. Throws to first in time, and that retires a side. Summit scores 3 in the top of the 7th. And at the end of 6.5, it's Summit 15 and Union Catholic 6 on UC Livestream, UC Sports Media. To the bottom of the 7th we go. Summit with the 15-6 lead. Jake Easton into pitch for the Hilltoppers, a left-handed thrower. He takes his warm-ups. Nick Pellegrino, the designated hitter, will lead off for Union Catholic. So the Vikings have a lot of work to do, but they need to start with a base runner and more base runners and try to pull off the comeback here in the bottom of the 7th. So the senior Nick Pellegrino steps into the righty batter's box. Easton throwing from the left side. First pitch is a strike. That is skied out of play behind the backstop. 0-2 count on Pellegrino. Count goes to 1-2. Varsity softball up next. Vikings versus the Tigers of Linden High School. The 1-2 popped up, and it lands on the screen. Breaking ball misses. Count evens at 2-2. Nick Anderson on deck. Pellegrino lays off. Count goes full. The payoff pitch. Eastman winds. And that one's hit in the air. And it drops in there. It kept carrying. Pellegrino is going to go to third, and he is
safe. The ball rolled.
In there. Jack, you're right. So Pellegrino leads off with a triple. As Nick Anderson comes to the plate. Swings and misses the first pitch. There's a strike, 0-2. Anderson with a closed stance in the right hand of his batter's box. He swings and misses. Ball gets away. Pellegrino scores, and Anderson's going to be safe. So it goes as a strikeout, but no out recorded. And it's now 15-7. As Coach Bonadis walks by. Go get him, Coach. Easton sets. Delivers to Braden Morrison as a strike. So no outs, bottom of the 7th, 1 run in this frame. 15-7 Summit. That is grounded to the left side. Throw to first. Is in time. Throw to second. Is not in time. So 1 out. That brings up Noah Sosa, who started the game as the pitcher for UC. There is a fastball strike as Nick Anderson leads off a second base. Easton looks at the runner and sets. That is skied out of play. Vikings have 2 outs to work with. Last half of the 7th. That swung on and missed. There's 2 outs. First pitch is high. That was hit out of play, so count is 1-1. I have a new hitter out of the 8 spot. It was Ryan Jonquilia in the 8 spot, trying to zoom in and see a number. Might have been 12. The 1-1 is upstairs. I don't have numbers for reserves on the lineup card from UC. 3-1 count. So Vikings down to their final out, trail by 8 here in the bottom of the 7th. Summit trying to close out this Mountain Division game. Again, these teams will play twice this year. They'll play at Summit later in the season. That's ball 4. So the Vikings keep it going. They stay alive as Ryan Benvency will hit for Union Catholic as the catcher will come out and talk to Easton. Easton delivers, and there's a fastball strike to Benvency. The 0-1 is fouled back, so the Vikings down to their final strike. Easton comes set. Benvency calls time. First and second, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. That one's fouled off. That misses up and away. Easton looks in for the sign. The southpaw delivers. It's hit off of Easton. Second baseman retrieves it. Benvency's going to be safe. And the Vikings fight on. So the Vikings now have the bases loaded as that liner was hit off of Easton. He appears to be fine.
Those are scary stuff when it comes back to you as a pitcher.
Yeah, Jack, luckily that was low and hit him either in the foot or the leg, and he appears to be all right.
Still, the foot is hard. I mean, it could be worse, but the foot.
Oh, it hurts.
Foot hurts.
There's a strike to Chris Wilson. So Vikings have the bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. They just need to keep getting base runners aboard. Easton out of the windup. Fouled off. So count 0-2 on Chris Wilson, the center fielder and sophomore, out of the leadoff spot for the Vikings. Easton delivers, breaking ball, misses outside.
See, sometimes catchers are good at framing pitches. You know, making like stealing, as I heard yesterday in commentary, stealing balls, making them strike, stealing strikes.
That one's outside. Yeah, it's a big part of catching. They used to call it framing. Now they call it
I heard yesterday
presentation.
when I was watching the Mets
Catcher's
game,
presentation.
when I was watching the Mets game for a few minutes, I was like watching. They said stealing strikes.
Yeah, well, that's what they try to do. As with a 2-2 pitch, gets away but no advance. So count goes full. So bases are loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Summit with a 15-7 lead. Easton, left-handed pitcher from the windup. He delivers. That one's lined, and it gets down for a base hit. 2-run score. Wilson the second. So the Vikings stay alive. Wilson with 2 RBIs there. And it's now 15-9. So Greg Valori will come up. He's got to keep the line moving as Wilson hit that hard. It's good to show fight. You know, they're down a bunch of runs, but you chip away, you keep playing. I mean, you're trying to complete this comeback, but even if you don't, you want to show that resolve and that resilience, which could carry with you to the next game. Having said that, Vikings still have an opportunity here. Second and third, 2 outs. They trail by 6. Bottom of the 7th. That one's popped up, and it's caught, and that's going to end the ball game. So Summit comes away with a Mountain Division victory. Here at Union Catholic today, they win by the score of 15-9. So that's going to wrap up our coverage of varsity baseball today. Union Catholic baseball. Union Catholic now falls to 1-1 on the season. They had the opening day victory versus SPF 8-3, and they fall today to their divisional opponent, the Summit Hilltoppers, 15-9. So for Jack Yablonowitz, I am Mr. Aranio. Thank you for joining us for Union Catholic Baseball today. We'll be back in a little while. Union Catholic varsity softball, the Vikings, taking on Linden here on Union Catholic live stream, UC Sports.